How's it going, everyone? Got a lot of PlayStation news and updates to go over in this video. Bit of an update on the rumored release of a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster. I know people have just been wanting this for seemingly years and years. I've played Final Fantasy Tactics quite a bit. I'm not gonna act like I am the biggest fan of it in the world, but I enjoyed it, and War of the Lions I thought was awesome on PSP. Played Tactics A2 on Nintendo DS. As far as the original PS1 release, that was a little bit before my time of really getting into Final Fantasy, but nevertheless, a lot of people are super into it, and it is reportedly happening. We'll talk about that. You wanna know what's happening? Astro in September, and guess what? That game is doing incredibly well. We'll talk about that. And a notable remake has been dated for September. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster is happening. As noted by Jason Schreier, in all places a Reddit thread, he just commented, "Hi, the Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster is real and happening." And yes, it is Jason Schreier's official Reddit account, so take that for what you will. Final Fantasy Tactics is a solid game. I'm not huge into tactics JRPGs, but Final Fantasy Tactics is one that I obviously had to play as a big PSP guy. Like, War of the Lions was one of those games that I feel like a lot of people that had a PSP ended up picking up, and I really did end up enjoying that game. Did I enjoy it as much as, like, the mainline Final Fantasy titles? No, but I understand why people want a remaster of it. And given that the last time I played Tactics was probably like 2011, I want to say. 2010, 2011. It was a while ago. I was like 15, 16 years old. Like 14, 15 years old back then. So, you know, being able to revisit the game, I think is going to be quite nice. And the thing is, a Tactics remaster, that's going to appeal to a whole new audience of people that weren't around in the PS1 era. And also people that, you know, didn't check out War of the Lions. Not everybody bought a PSP, even though, like, I'll vehemently defend the PSP until the day I die. Let's be real, it's not like a lot of people were picking up the PSP. Although, the platform did well, it's just, you know, I feel like a lot of people bought a PSP and, like, ended up just buying the games it got bundled with, or playing the games it got bundled with, and then didn't check out a lot of the other games. I feel like that happened a lot. The PSP really had a solid repertoire of titles, and War of the Lions was one of them. Excited for a remaster. Have to imagine it's gonna be priced at $50, and honestly, from a Square Enix standpoint, it would probably be a mistake not to price it at $50, given how much it's wanted and desired, and you would have to think that it's gonna do pretty damn well. Crisis Core was $50. Tactics Ogre was $50. Star Ocean Second Evolution R was $50. I would have to imagine Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster is going to be $50 as well, but looks like we got a solid stream of Final Fantasy content, man. We had Rebirth earlier this year. You've got Tactics Remaster, you've got 9 Remake, you've got Final Fantasy 7, that whole arc continuing at some point, but you've got a steady stream of Final Fantasy content dropping. Dawn Trail, of course, dropping in just a couple of weeks. Well, a great time to be a Final Fantasy fan, to say the least. Even if you're not the craziest fan of FF16, there's a lot of other titles to check out, if nothing else. All right, moving on from that, one of the standouts over the summer, especially during the State of Play, was Astro. Astro looks absolutely awesome, and it's the type of game that Sony does need more of. The family-friendly game, and a game that can be spun into a bit of a mascot for Sony. Like, Astro as a whole can be a mascot for Sony, given that, you know, Sackboy's time has kind of come and gone. As far as, you know, personally speaking, that does really disappoint me, but Sackboy, Little Big Planet, not really that mascot he was back in the late 2000s. But Astrobot, on the other hand, I think is going to have a lot of attention and was the winner of the summer's game showcase, as noted on GamesIndustry.biz, with the most wish list of all games shown and announced over the past few weeks. The data comes from IGN Playlist, which is a backlog and play activity tracker that is available on the web and via a mobile app. The chart is based on purchase intent of over 43,000 gamers and factors in new wish lists from May 30th, the day of the PlayStation State of Play. Now, given that it is just IGN, and, you know, the sample size is 43,000, which is a healthy sample size. It's not, you know, the overwhelming majority of all of the PlayStation consumers, but Astrobot is at top of the tier, and number 2 does belong to Doom The Dark Ages, which is also coming to PS5, to be fair. You've got Gears of War E-Day at number 3 and Perfect Dark at number 4. Really, I thought Xbox was the absolute standout of all of these summer events. I know a lot of you guys just like to hate on Xbox left and right, but I thought they had a killer killer show, especially given my expectations. And rumbling is Gears of War E-Day is a 2025 game. Fingers crossed on that, because I think that's going to be big. And then, of course, they also showed off Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which is going to be coming out from Sandfall Interactive in 2025. So that's pretty exciting. You've got other titles like Assassin's Creed Shadows at number 5, Fable at number 8, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at number 9. A lot of notable titles are coming out in the latter portion of this year, but man, Astrobot, given that Sony doesn't have major exclusives coming out in terms of what they typically put out, like those big budget, single-player, narrative-driven experience, Astrobot, I think, is gonna have a healthy level of interest. And you know what? Some people might push back on the $59.99 price point. If Nintendo can price Mario at $59.99, I don't see why Sony, as long as Astrobot has a solid amount of content, which it does, which, by the way, it's going to get free content updates in the future, smaller scale levels, challenge levels, but still free content updates. There's a lot of reason to be excited about Astrobot, and really, to me, I'm not going to say it's my most anticipated game for the rest of the year, but certainly among, like, the top 5 to 7 games. Look, there's a lot of games coming out in the latter 4 months of the year. Black Myth, Warhammer Space Marine 2, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Metaphor Ray Fantasio, so on and so forth. You know, saying it's in the top 5 to 7 is a healthy statement for Astrobot, but I think the game looks great, and I'm hoping it turns out well. By the way, speaking of family-friendly PlayStation titles, I think LEGO Horizon looks absolutely awesome. I cannot wait to play that game, and I am really, really excited for that as well. So, kind of interesting that you've got both Astrobot and LEGO Horizon, but if they want to target more family-friendly, those are two titles that I think are going to be spotlighted during the holidays, and I think it would be promotional malpractice, business malpractice, whatever you want to say, if for the holiday season, they don't do an Astrobot PlayStation 5 console bundle. Like Black Friday, get that out, $450, $500, whatever you want to price it at. Let's get Astrobot over as this mascot for PlayStation, because I think he has the potential, and I think that game looks fantastic more than anything, so let's get it in more people's hands. That's my sell job on getting an Astrobot bundle, so let's hope that happens. Lastly, Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. The remake of Lollipop Chainsaw will be out on September 25th for $49.99, coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Repop is a remake of the original Lollipop Chainsaw from 2012, on which Yoshimi Yasuda led a development as producer. Repop is definitive version of the game, which leaves the story unchanged with the focus on quality of life improvements and additional gameplay content. Watch Juliet, a descendant of zombie hunters, as she fights alongside her boyfriend and family to stop a zombie apocalypse starting in her high school in Juliet's 18th birthday. When pre-orders will be available, it is to be announced at a later date. Repop will also have a physical edition release worldwide. Further details are to be announced at a later date. Now, there have been a lot of quality improvements. The resolution of a game has been increased to full HD. Chainsaw Auction has been sped up as well, and the input timings for combo actions have been adjusted. Additional gameplay content has been added as well. $50 might be a little bit pricey for a game that, let's be honest, was one of those mid-level PlayStation 3 360 releases from the early 2010s that got a mid-level reaction as well. I put this in the category of games like Shadows of the Damned, El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. You could throw in like an Enslaved Odyssey to the West. Games that weren't overwhelmingly popular, but the audience that enjoyed it, I feel like, do have a fond remembrance for the game. It's just $50. Like, I loved Enslaved Odyssey to the West. You're asking me to pay $50 for Enslaved Odyssey to the West, we're gonna have a problem there. Same thing with Shadows of the Damned. Same thing with Lollipop Chainsaw and El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. Like, those games I put in that same category, throwing like Wet in there as well. I think Wet's from like 2009, but those mid-level titles that I think have quality to them, but $50, $60, just a little bit pricey in my opinion. But nonetheless, that's coming out September 25th. Nobody's forcing you to buy it day one. You can pick it up down the line at a discount. But that is going to do it for me. Again, a lot of PlayStation updates. FF Tactics Remaster is reportedly real and happening, coming from Jason Schreier. Hopefully an announcement coming on that soon. Maybe a 2024 release. Seems unlikely at this point, but we'll see. Astrobot is a game that is much desired, as noted by the IGN playlist data. And Lollipop Chainsaw Repop will be dropping on September the 25th. $49.99 on that, a full-on remake of Lollipop Chainsaw. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.